So we're here with Johan Holgersson from Bring, and we're just going to do a short interview for SavvyJane.com. Johan, what do you do at Bring?
Well, I'm the commercial director at Bring, and I'm also our e-commerce specialist. So I really like to nerd down into details about e-commerce.
Okay. So is it okay if we ask you just a few questions about how we can help the retailers with logistics and shipping?
Of course.
Okay. So I think that we have a common goal at Nordic eCommerce Summit with you, that we want the Nordic retailers to succeed at home, and also we want to be proud of them internationally. And I'm guessing you have that goal too? Yeah,
of course. I mean, everyone who has the courage to start business or expand their business geographically or cross-border should have our respect, and we should do everything we can to help them on that journey. So sure.
Very nice. But unfortunately, only a few Nordic online retailers succeed outside of Scandinavia. So how important of a role do you think the cost of logistics plays in their success?
I mean, especially within e-commerce, logistic cost is, of course, significant, because that's the only way to distribute the goods. So it's gonna play a big role, of course. But then again, I think we should really have a new take on the whole logistic landscape, or the logistic setup, and moving away from the single channel where all the packages are passing through today, and just add more channels to redistribute the cost and let the consumers take over part of the willingness to pay.
Okay. But there's a problem in Scandinavia from what retailers tell us. Many retailers that we've spoken to say they can't be competitive when larger companies enter the Scandinavian market. And with such high shipping costs, it's also difficult to expand and compete in other countries. So, and all the Nordic countries are fairly small in size, obviously, in population as well, if you compare it to other European countries. But if you send a package from Sweden to Norway, for example, it's very expensive. So how is it possible that other European countries can help retailers be competitive, and in Scandinavia we can't?
Well, I think first of all, if you are a logistic player on Nordic level, I think you really are able to meet the requirements from the retailers. Now the Nordics is kind of special. If you compare the Nordics to like Germany or France or other European countries that are higher in density and have many more bigger cities distributed over the whole country, I mean, it's easy to build up good logistic setups in high density areas. It's harder to do it in the northern parts of Sweden, northern parts of Norway. So you really have to understand that it's pretty complicated to fix the Nordics. But then again, we're doing the best we can.
Okay. So how do you think retailers can compete against, for example, a German company in with logistics? And also, what are some mistakes that they make, in your opinion?
Well, that's a good question. I think I need to go back to the answer I just gave. That has to do with many of the big part of the parcels today is passing through one single channel. And I think that's a bad idea. I think we have to widen the distribution channels and add more, like home delivery, same-day delivery, click and collect, everything that can add to the convenience and the freedom of choice. And if the Swedish and Nordic retailers can be really fast in implementing this, I think they will stand stronger in the competition with German players or international players.
Okay. So there's been some complaints that it's difficult to understand all the pricing models with shipping. They say it's very complicated. So is there anything we can do to help them understand it, or better yet, is there anything you guys are working on to simplify it?
Yeah, I think that I mean, logistics is an old business. We've been distributing mail since like 500 years. So there are of course some historic facts that are dragging us down in the transparency. We really need to be more open and say, okay, this is our costs, we need this markup, and then this is your price. So we need to try to start to strip down the surcharges, the extra parts that really isn't transparent.
Okay. So are you guys at Bring working on something like this to make it more transparent?
Yeah, we have to, and that's not really driven by us to be better than everybody else. This is the consumers wanting to see, okay, what's going to end up on my checkout on the bill in the end. So, so it's consumer driven, and we like that.
You guys said before that retailers should consider free returns instead of free shipping. And one of the reasons for that is customers that return items are often more profitable than others. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why do you recommend offering any kind of shipping for free, whether it's returns or just to them?
Well, my take on this is, I mean, when e-commerce was young back in the days, I mean, to earn the right to grow and earn the right to exist, of course, they had to offer free shipping, free returns. But then again, nowadays, I think that's a bad idea, because then you as a retailer have to absorb all the cost of the distribution. Now, if you, yet again, expand your delivery options, then you can also distribute the costs all the way out to the consumer. But the big one here is really to understand that you can't really redistribute costs without saying that you are redistributing costs. You have to say, okay, dear customer, this is what it is. You have the free shipping, but if you want to have the home delivery, it's plus 50 krones. If you have to want the same day, it's plus 150 krones. I don't know. I'm not writing these numbers in blood, but of course you need to be transparent to say, okay, if you want value-added services, it's going to cost you a bit extra. Everybody works like that today. Okay. We listened to Ryanair the other day, Jabong as well, and Spotify is really good at that as well. You can still listen to music for free, but then again, if you want to skip the ads, it's a bit extra. So.
Okay, but what happens when a company from another country can offer both free shipping to them and also free returns? How can a Nordic company compete with this?
Well, first of all, I think every company that is in a high competitive market industry has to take full responsibility for the business model. That's number one. Mm-hmm. This is about, as I said earlier, either you absorb the cost or you redistribute the cost. So this is going to happen all the time. We're going to have big players coming in and saying, okay, we can do this cheaper. We see this in every industry. So this is about being true to your offering, being true to your customer services. It's about like building the uniqueness about your offering. So okay. It's much more in a bigger picture, I guess.
Okay, so you're very enthusiastic about online retailers offering multiple delivery options. A couple of your reports even show that customers would rather shop at a store that has more delivery options. But how should an online retailer convince their customers that this is a good thing and something worth paying for?
Yeah, well, my take on that is that the consumers are already convinced. I don't think that the e-tailers have to do very much about that. Even though I think e-tailers have been historically great at A/B testing everything from the checkout part, from the products, pictures, the content and stuff like that. And we really need to move into A/B testing also the delivery options. So okay. I'll be happy to sponsor some of the watchers just to get this going.
Let's say that a lot of online retailers in our audience want to offer more delivery options from different vendors because obviously they want to make as much money as possible. Yeah. However, you guys base your pricing model on volume of packages sent, right?
Yeah, well, not quite. Of course, that's a big driver. But then again, you have to look at stuff like geographical concentration. You have to look at the size of the packages, how they are packaged, and if they're safe. And it's a lot of other drivers as well. Okay. But of course, the volume is important.
Okay, but sure. If you were basing your pricing off of volume. So we were thinking about this before, we couldn't really figure out the math. But to offer different delivery options from different vendors, which you say is a good thing, would mean that the volume of packages for each vendor would likely go down, which means the price of each package for all the vendors would go up. So in reality, the logistics will cost even more for the retailer. How do you make sense of that? Is that sound good?
Yeah, I mean, of course, the price mechanism will be used in negotiation in both ways, I guess, from the retailer side and logistics side, sure. But then again, I think it's a bad idea for logistic providers to lock the customers into bad logistics solutions just because it's historically has been that way. So really, I think that e-tailers need to maybe look upon other vendors within logistics that can cover the whole area. Then you don't really have the problem when you move volumes.
Are you guys following consumer development at all?
Yeah, we do.
Are you building anything based off their behavior?
We're building very much. Since I'm responsible for business development within our company, we really need to look outside, the outside-in approach. We need to listen to what the consumers really want. And we do this in different ways. We have really close cooperations with companies that really do look at consumer behavior. We do fast service when we deliver parcels via SMS. And it of course helps if you're like nearly obsessed with e-commerce like I am. So.
Okay. So last question, Christmas, how is it going to be this year?
Well, I think that I would like to say it's going to be smooth sailing all the way, but I don't think so. I mean, last Christmas was really chaotic. this year, all the logistic providers has done what they can to expand the parcel shop net, of course. But I think it will be pretty harsh.
What about 2015 then?
2015, I think the acceptance of more delivery options is going to expand. So maybe Christmas next year will be better. Maybe home delivery is the key for better Christmases.
Okay. Thank you, Johan Holgersson. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions.
Well, thank you.